to bring people above the poverty line. Because to me, it comes down to education and opportunity.
Exactly. Like the days of John F. Kennedy. I mean, back then, John F. Kennedy looked at everybody as an equal. It didn't matter about politics. It was all about the man themselves. What they had to offer, whether they had a disability or not, their capabilities and their abilities to be a productive member. You see what I mean?
100%.
I love John F. Kennedy. I read so many stories. I thought he was an amazing man.
Yeah. So it was him that changed the rules about African Americans being able to acquire houses, and he actually changed the legislation under his term. So up until then, we did a previous video on this, and we were talking about institutional racism with Delisha Sign in banking rates, US banking rates. So back then, and I speak about it all the time, like Americans why would you even know this information? You're going back, especially young people, you wouldn't even know this. But back up until like in the 1930s, before the Federation, FHA got created in 1934, the only people who could afford to buy a house were the uber wealthy. Because back then, you had to take a 5-year loan, and you had to put 80% down. So if you wanted to buy a house, you had to put 80% down, and then you got a loan for 5 years for the other 20%. When the FHA came along, Federation of Housing Association, they changed the rules to the loan structures to be similar to what it is right now. So suddenly you could get a 30-year loan, and you only had to put 20%. And then this allowed all these inner city areas, where essentially, in Scotland, you call them the slums, inner city areas where people worked in factories. But at that point there was Irish immigrants, Jewish immigrants, Chinese immigrants, all the different immigrants were staying there, including the African Americans. But at that point there, they created a law that people could do it unless you were black. So the black community were excluded from accessing these loans. So between 1934, and then a lot of this was post-Second World War when it really took up. So after 1945, you came back. Suddenly people are getting loans. So you're now getting a loan. Great, I'm an Irish immigrant. I've come back from war. We've had the war against the Nazis or wherever else it's been. Come back. Yeah, I'm gonna take opportunity for this. I'm gonna get my house. I'm gonna basically put it in. And you're talking houses that were like $1,800 shit. It's not like it's like huge amount of money. $1,800, $2,000. You're getting a loan of essentially 80%. Boom, you've got the money together. You've got your loan. You've now moved out from the slums or inner city areas to the suburbs, and you can move to the suburbs at that point there. You've got this